Before the red suit, before the reindeer, before the North Pole was ever imagined, there was a man. A man whose name whispered through prisons, storm-torn seas, and secret midnight windows. A man feared by tyrants, but loved by the forgotten. He lived in a world where compassion was dangerous, and every act of kindness risked death. Yet his name survived longer than the empire that tried to erase him. And the most incredible part, almost everything you think you know about him is wrong. If you stay with this story, you will discover the truth behind his miracles, the political struggles he fought, how a Roman bishop became a global myth, why children still whisper his name, and the strange, scientific mysteries that surround his bones to this day. This is not a Christmas tale. This is the origin story of the most influential saint in human history. A story carved into marble, carried by sailors, stolen by crusaders, and reborn as Santa Claus. Let's begin where the myth couldn't possibly survive, in the brutality of the late Roman Empire. Nicholas was born around 270 AD in Patara, a sun-baked port on the Lycian coast, now in modern Turkey. A place of ships, spices, and whispers of new ideas, including Christianity. His family was wealthy, but the world around them was unstable. Plagues surged, Rome's borders collapsed, and faith itself was a dangerous secret. When Nicholas lost his parents, likely to an epidemic, he didn't follow the path expected of a young aristocrat. He didn't seek power. He didn't seek safety. He sought meaning, and he found it in the teachings of a persecuted religion that promised that wealth meant nothing, unless it lifted others. Every night, Nicholas walked the streets of Patara, not like a noble, but like a shadow. He slipped purses of coins into shoes by the door, left gold for poor fathers who couldn't afford dowries for their daughters, fed the hungry, protected the vulnerable. Those who saw him swear he moved like someone racing against time, as if he already knew the empire would soon turn against him. Because it would. Rome was tightening its fist, and kindness was about to become a crime. When Nicholas became Bishop of Myra, he entered a deadly game. The Roman government no longer tolerated Christians. Churches were burned, texts destroyed, and anyone refusing to bow to the old gods faced torture or execution. Nicholas refused. He protected fugitives, confronted corrupt governors, even ransomed condemned prisoners. To the poor, he was a miracle. To the powerful, he was a threat. The famine of Myra became the test of his legend. When a ship loaded with imperial grain docked in the harbor, Nicholas begged the sailors for just a few sacks. They refused. The emperor counted every kernel. But Nicholas insisted. He promised they would not lose a single grain. And so, the sailors relented. When the ship reached Constantinople, the cargo weighed the same. Not one grain missing. History doesn't know how, but the people of Myra didn't care. They had bread and a reason to believe again. If you're still here, you're the kind of person who wants the truth behind legends. Not fairy tales, but the astonishing realities beneath them. Consider becoming a member of 5 Minutes of Culture. You'll help us keep producing deep cinematic stories like this one. In 303 AD, Emperor Diocletian unleashed the Great Persecution, the harshest crackdown on Christians in Roman history. Nicholas, now a symbol of resistance, was arrested. He was beaten, humiliated, thrown into a cell with criminals. But instead of breaking, he prayed. For the guards, for the prisoners, even for the emperor. Years later, when Constantine legalized Christianity, bishops across the empire gathered at the Council of Nicaea, a meeting that would define Christian doctrine for the next 1,700 years. And there, amid debates that shook the foundations of the religion, an explosive moment occurred. Arius, a charismatic priest, denied that Jesus was divine. Nicholas, gentle, compassionate Nicholas, stepped forward and struck Arius across the face. It shocked the room. A bishop hitting a theologian? Unthinkable. He was stripped of his robes and imprisoned. But the story doesn't end there. In the darkness of the cell, he prayed. And according to early accounts, guards found him the next morning with his chains on the floor. His robe was restored, his cell filled with a soft, inexplicable light. Metaphor or miracle? No one can say. But after that night, Nicholas was reinstated, and his influence only grew stronger. Nicholas returned to Myra a changed man, not softer, but fiercer. He became the patron of sailors because countless captains swore the same thing. In the middle of storms, when waves towered like mountains, a figure appeared on the deck, calm, steady, praying. And the sea fell silent. He became the protector of children because of another story. A butcher kidnapped 3 boys during a famine. Nicholas confronted him, saved the children, and restored justice when the law failed. He also saved 3 innocent men from wrongful execution, literally stepping between them and the sword. He grabbed the blade, pushed it aside, and demanded a retrial. Not because he was fearless, but because he believed that courage meant showing up exactly where the world was breaking. Nicholas died around 343 AD, but the story didn't end. His tomb in Myra became a pilgrimage site until 1087, when sailors from Bari, Italy, fearing the region would fall to invaders, broke into the crypt and took his bones. They brought them across the Mediterranean to the Basilica di San Nicola. And there something strange happened. His bones began to produce a clear liquid called manna or myrrh. Scientists today confirm the fluid exists, though its origin remains unexplained. Anthropologists, analyzing his skull in recent years, reconstructed his face. Broad, strong, with a broken nose, likely from persecution. A real man, not a myth. And from Europe, his legend spread north. The Dutch called him Santa Claus. The Americans transformed him into Santa Claus. Coca-Cola gave him a red suit, but the roots remained the same. A man who believed that compassion could outlive death. So, what was Nicholas's real miracle? It wasn't multiplying grain. It wasn't calming storms. It wasn't saving children or confronting tyrants. His miracle was this: he proved that one person, one single human being, can change the world. Not through power, but through kindness that costs something. Centuries pass, empires crumble, legends distort, but the idea survives. Hope isn't passive. Hope has hands, and Nicholas used his. Every winter, when lights glow in windows and children wait for a miracle, they're not waiting for the man in red. Not really. They're waiting for the echo of a bishop who walked barefoot through Roman streets, giving without being seen. If this story changed how you see St. Nicholas, if it showed you the man behind the myth, don't forget to subscribe to 5 Minutes of Culture. Because next time, we'll uncover another legend, hiding a truth far older, far stranger, and far more human than anyone expects.